These people should know better. When you're in a horror movie, never go to the prom or any other kind of dance. Have we learned nothing from Carrie?
Watch it, Alan. I'm shooting.
Prom Night. Prom Night is another blood-soaked slasher movie from the 80s, the glory days of the slasher genre. Our story begins 6 years before the prom. A group of 12-year-old kids are playing a game in an abandoned convent when little Robin Hammond wants to join in their game. The foursome frighten and taunt her, resulting in her backing up out of a window and falling to her death. The four are afraid of getting in trouble, so they flee the scene and agree to keep the dark secret. But someone saw little Robin die. Six years later, it's time for the prom! And someone has returned for bloody revenge. Blood spills, bodies fall, and heads roll. With disco music. Let's get the main attraction for this movie out of the way. Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie is the original Scream Queen. She's been in Halloween and Halloween 2 and Halloween H2O and the new Halloween coming out this year, as well as Terror Train, The Fog, a little-known Australian chiller called Road Games, and of course Prom Night. As always, she's a fantastic final girl. She just has so much charm that even if the movie's terrible, she's great in it.
Now I know why Kim won't go out with me. She likes girls.
It's better than kissing an ashtray.
Say goodbye, Lou. Goodbye, Lou.
Don't worry, this movie's not terrible. You also have Leslie Nielsen in a small role before he was known for comedies. The movie is your basic revenge slasher film. A person was wronged or killed, and the killer is coming back to murder all the people who did it. You can tell this was a major influence for I Know What You Did Last Summer. This being a slasher film, we're waiting for the kills. It takes a while for the blood to start flowing, but the story is interesting. The scariest thing about this movie is the dancing. I'm just kidding, I like disco. The build-up to the murders is very interesting. Each of the guilty teens is focusing on the prom, but they keep getting phone calls from the killer and creepy things happen around them.
Hello?
Jude,
Yes?
can you come out to play tonight?
The most interesting thing is that the character Nick, who is one of the kids responsible for Robin's death, is dating Jamie Lee Curtis's character Kim, who is Robin's sister. But let's face it, the movie revolves around the prom. It's basically a teen movie being invaded by a horror movie. The kills are well done, but they're not the bloodiest in slasher movies. You still get some blood, but if you go into this expecting something like Friday the 13th, you're going to be disappointed. It's more about how the kills are shot than the blood being spilled in the scene. Slasher fans will find a lot to like in this movie as long as you go in with that in mind. Prom Night has its legacy. It inspired movies like, as I said before, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and the Scream series. You get a few tributes to Prom Night in Scream.
See, the police are always off track with this shit. If they'd watch Prom Night, they'd save time. There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
Not only that, but listen to the voice of the killer as he calls his victims in both Prom Night and Scream.
James is resident. Callie, it's been a long time. Tonight, it's my turn.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
What did you say?
I wouldn't say that Prom Night is the best 80s slasher film. I wouldn't even say top 5, but it's a damn good slasher film and has earned its place as a cult classic. It's definitely more for the fans of slasher movies. If you're not into the genre, you probably won't enjoy it as much. It's not like Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or Maniac, which I can recommend to any horror fan, but hey, I'm a slasher fan and I'm fond of this movie. Now let me ask you, what's your favorite 80s slasher film? And if you've seen Prom Night, what do you think of it? This is your buddy Justin here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die.